This edition of the Ridley Report is brought to you by libertycaravan.org. Something that rhymes with org.
Just got in, was here last year, so I thought it was a great event last year. In fact,
based on an unscientific poll, it's a two-man race here between you and Ron Paul.
Well, and I'm like I say, I'm trying to grow this movement to actually win the presidency, and so I'm asked a lot. You know, aren't you going to split the Ron Paul vote? And you know what? It needs to grow way beyond this. So that's what I'm engaged in. If Ron Paul and I get to that 40% mark, then maybe we're going to have to sit down and talk about this. But it needs to be 40% to really win the primary, and I think it resonates really well in a general election.
I mean, a lot of people would say it's a sort of a courageous candidate that would come to an event where there's, you know, people walking around open carrying weapons, there's gay disco, there's people smoking marijuana. What do you make of that?
I wouldn't say I was a brave candidate for those reasons. No, those things don't bother me at all.
Yeah, we should probably close this door so we can hear him better. Sure. We'll just wait here.
I'm sorry. I'm with GQ Magazine, and I'm doing a piece on
welcome.
the governor.
But so in terms of the constellation of concerns and issues that you hear from people here, I mean, how do they jive with
Well, what's so interesting last year is I find myself having to defend myself as a big government guy being here, which I don't have to and I say that tongue-in-cheek, I think, because, you know, what I'm out talking about is, unlike maybe any other libertarian that you've ever talked to, you know, I've been a registered Republican my entire life, but I would like to think that that my beliefs are classically liberal, which is the best government is the government that rules the least, and that the best the government can do for me is to empower me as an individual to make the decisions that only I can really make. So I got to govern for 8 years in New Mexico by saying that kind of stuff and actually having the rubber meet the road. You know, I vetoed arguably as much legislation as the other 49 governors in the country combined. And that was saying no to government having the answers to all of the problems that we face. It was saying no to all the spending that government would attach to fixing what's wrong with our lives. And I think what's really significant is New Mexico's a state that's 2-to-1 Democrat. This is what I said and did, and I got reelected. So what does that say? I think what it says is that people really appreciate good stewardship of tax dollars. I think people appreciated what I did. I don't know if you saw it, but I mean, I got to blow my own horn here running for president, but they came out with a poll like 2 weeks ago that said that there's only one presidential candidate that's popular in his or her own state, and that was me. So I was a plus 12, I got to get this right. I was a plus 12, and in second place was -8. And they did all the candidates. So I'm here to say that this works governing. And everybody talks about it. Everybody talks about what needs to be done. I'd like to think that I really walk the talk.
I mean, you know, obviously, like, there's governing, and then there's getting the chance to govern.
Exactly. Well, it's one thing to talk about it, which I did, but there's another thing to actually get elected and put it into practice. And I'd like to think that my actions were a lot louder than my words. I'd like to think that my words were a little on the soft side.
This roving voice of the police, giving orders at just the right time.
Mr. Motorist, be careful.
The Liberty Caravan is coming
But it won't look like this. It'll look more like this, except a lot bigger. And maybe there will be hotties hanging out the window. Or maybe not. But either way, please sign up if you think you can move to New Hampshire in early September. That, by the way, will enable you to meet the next 1,000 moving deadline. Convoys provide a more protected ride. LibertyCaravan.org.